and Margot.
I haven't been able to reach Margot. When was the last time you saw her?
The study group only went till 9.
I think we're gonna go late.
No, she definitely left at 9.
And Margot.
Did she mention anything unusual? Was she acting strange?
And Margot.
Where are you?
She's been transferring funds for the last 6 months.
And Margot.
We found blood in the vehicle.
How did David respond?
These problems usually start in the household.
Well, Debra, I just love your character in this film, love this movie.
Thank you.
Well, I love you before that, Will and Grace. And so when I saw this movie, I completely forgot about your other character and I was so absorbed in this film searching. I thought your character was really, really awesome. Very competent, very positive.
Thank you so much.
What inspired you to take on this role?
You know, it's just so outside the box of anything that I've done before. I was actually surprised when Anisha offered it to me because I don't think that I'm the most obvious choice for this part.
You're too humble.
I not because I'm not capable, but just because of my persona and what people are used to seeing me do. And you know, this is a very complicated woman, and part of me wanted to do it because I so understood that maternal thing, that, you know, that lioness that is in you when you are a parent that makes you feel like I will do anything to protect my child. I immediately understood that, and I understood John Cho's character of like the desperation of a missing child. I mean, it was very relatable and accessible to me. You know, this classic suspense thriller, but it had a lot of emotion to it. I found it moving. And then on top of it, you know, to have this complete new language of filmmaking, you know, telling story using the devices that we live on every day. You know, I was honestly confused by reading the script at first. I thought, you know, is this cold? Will this be, after a while, boring? Will you forget about the story because you're distracted by what's happening? But because I was so drawn into the actual story, I felt like it was compelling. I didn't know if it would work, but I felt like when I heard that he was 23 years old, I just thought, oh my gosh, this kid is a visionary. Like, he's going to be someone really important in the future of filmmaking. And, you know, I didn't care if it ultimately worked. I wanted to just support his brave and, you know, fresh idea, and I wanted to just be around it. You know, I was feeling like I needed like a little some kind of like lift, you know.
Amazing though, because the film was, I mean, the first 7 minutes of the intro montage, was like, I was so invested emotionally. Yeah. But I mean, what I loved about your character was that she's very complex, but yet she is so smart, so intelligent, very positive, very competent.
Yeah.
And I think that's hard for, you know, a lot of people to understand why this Detective Rosemary must do. I mean, she put her heart out to help John Cho's character. And one thing that I learned from watching this movie, I'm not a mom, so like I learned, wow, communication between parents and children are so important, because if you miss something and that's it, I mean, like, you don't really know your kids, right?
Yes.
That's like the sad part about,
and
you know.
That's the scary thing.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, kids today, it's just a fact. This is how they communicate. They live their lives on these devices. And parents cannot monitor it 24/7. And as much as you think you know your child, you know, you're not going to know every facet of them. And trying to change that is futile, because this is just where we're at, and it's just going to get more complicated. But the fact that really what this film is about is the parent's love for a child, the power of it, and, you know, the question of where are your boundaries. You know, how far will you go to save your child, to protect your child. you know, John Cho's performance is so exquisite. You know, it's like you watch him sort of going mad, you know, with grief. And it's when I watched it at the end and I just sat there and I just thought, oh my God, he did it. It worked. And, you know, now I'm just so excited for people to see it, you know? And also the fact that, you know, for the first time in history, there's an Asian American actor who is the lead, the center of a suspense thriller, and it's about an Asian American family. It feels like a special piece, and it in some ways it shouldn't. It shouldn't be so special. But it is, and the thing that makes it even more special is that it could have been any ethnicity. It's not Asian American specific, and there's just a lot to this. There's a lot to this film that feels like firsts.
Wow, great job, Debra. Thank you so much for
Thank you.
your gracious and kind answer.
Where were you the night my daughter went missing?
I know my daughter.
Look into her behavior also.
She gets a fake ID. I know my daughter. This is her keychain.
She's my best friend. You broke his jaw.
I know my daughter.
I'm trying to help you find my daughter.